Hey y'all,
Hello,
how's
hello.
everyone doing? I have natural herb dewormer all over my sweater and I didn't realize it till just
It
now.
it was worming day for the
Yes,
goody
it
goats.
was herbal deworming day for the goats. Do it once a week. Use Land of Havilla. They're fantastic. I love it. And Mark actually got to witness for the first time today how much the goats love the dewormer.
I've been out there before when you know.
Have you?
Yeah,
Really?
I just hadn't seen the box.
What are you
Usually the
stalking?
box. Yeah,
You stalk? I'm a stalker. I guess it's good at you.
happens.
So, how's everyone doing tonight? You know, the usual guys, let us know that you can hear us and see us, all of that good stuff that is necessary to have a successful YouTube live,
So we're not talking to just the computer screen. So
which we would talk about anyways, I think.
yep, yep.
So, this week has been, I don't want to say it's been a really busy week. It's, we're at this weird part in the fall here in East Central Indiana where sometimes it's cold and sometimes it's really warm. And this week so far, it has been very warm. We've been getting up into about the 60s this week, but it also means that the flies are back and they're inside our house and they're flying around
On
us.
a good note, the bees became
Yes.
active again, so we've been feeding them during this warm spell, trying to
Yes.
get their supply up for the winter.
Yeah. So we
that's been
actually
nice.
had two hives that were not all that strong going, that not that they were not strong and are now better. They're still not strong and there's it's really questionable to see if they're going to make it through the winter. So today, actually this entire week while it's been reaching the high 60s.
Hello, Betty Randall and Brenda Baker.
Yes, hello Betty Randall, Brenda Baker, Emma from Sunny's Place, and then we've got Rachel, I'm assuming from Dusty Goat Homestead.
Yep.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. But we were just talking about our bees, trying to prepare them a little bit for the winter. So I did do like a 2-in-1 sugar syrup, which means like 2 cups of syrup for every 1 cup of water, because then it's easier for them to dehydrate it. Whereas if like we're in the spring, I would, if I were feeding and it was like a swarm we caught that needed help, I'd give them a 1-in-1, which is 1 cup sugar to 1 cup water because they have the time to dehydrate
That
it.
just makes it go a little bit further
Yeah.
too.
It does make it go a lot further, and they have more time to dehydrate that to create their own stores. Whereas now they're a little pressed for time to dehydrate that. So it's better to give them a higher sugar content rather than the water. So that's what we're doing.
And by
there.
going further, I mean for us for the sugar. So
Yeah.
we're not going through it left and right.
Actually, we need sugar now. I went through the rest of it.
Yeah.
So
Goes fast when we do
it
that.
does, and
It's a lot.
we actually put out, I think it was 8 fluid
Rachel
cups.
said yes, it is her.
Is it you, Rachel? It's good to see you guys. So enough about what we're doing. How are you guys doing? How's everybody in the chat doing tonight? How has your week been going? Give me something good that's happened to you this week. Something good that has happened to us this week.
I had a business call today, and we invited Tabitha,
Yeah,
our turkey, on the call. So,
Tabitha got to go on a team meeting call.
yep, they said bring something that reminds you of Thanksgiving, and of course, what better
Than a turkey.
could represent
Like
Thanksgiving
a real
than
turkey.
Yeah,
And it was kind of funny because like you could tell just a lot of them aren't from like that background, which is totally normal, totally fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But they're like, please tell us this turkey's earned its pardon. They didn't want
Yeah.
to see it and think that we were eating it. I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, she's got a name, so she's pardoned. And not to mention she makes lots of baby little turkeys for us and turkey eggs, and they're delicious.
yep.
So hey, Haas. There were 2 turkeys on that call. I like the way Haas thinks.
Yep.
There were 2 turkeys on that
Very
call.
true. Very true.
But like the whole time Mark was holding her, like I guess he'd had his thumb like pretty close to her talon, and she had a death grip.
Oh yeah, I thought I was gonna lose my thumb, but fortunately my thumb survived. So
But then we were also worried because like chickens are notorious. Like when you pick them up or they get nervous, like they'll crap all over you. So Mark was like, "What if she poops on me?" I'm like, "I hope that doesn't happen because turkey poop is like 10 times worse in my opinion than chicken poop, and there's a lot more of it." And lo and behold, the moment I took him out of his arms, I set her outside. The first thing she did was lay the biggest deuce on the crate.
Emma said you two are looking cozy and very fallish.
Yeah, well, Mark likes to make fun of my drug rugs. I didn't even know that's what these were called until like
I didn't either until
a
someone
lady at like the local donut shop. I walked in, she's like, "I love your drug rug," and I was like, "What?" Then I
Emma said
realized
she
what
saw
she was
that
talking
picture
about.
too.
Oh, did you, Emma?
I was pretty tense because I was waiting for her to like just start flapping her wings
and like knock him out.
Yeah, knock my laptop off. So
yes, Brenda Baker, thank you to all of our veterans today.
Yep.
We appreciate the service.
yeah, my daughter had a project today. It was like an extra, I think, credit project
Yeah.
where she could honor a veteran that she wanted, and she picked our brother-in-law,
Yeah.
my brother-in-law.
Yeah. So Chad is
Yeah,
our brother-in-law, but it was so cute because she made it all by herself, and
Yep.
we were we were looking at it, and Mark was dying laughing because he's like, "Did you look at what she wrote on there?" And I'm like, "Well, no, that's her work, and she's a sixth grader." So I'm like, "Hey," and I know she got with
She's good about
her
asking us
cousin
questions,
to make sure that everything they're answering was great. But it was nice because she said that he had survived
Portland, Maine.
Portland, Maine, and we were dying. We're like,
So,
what?
Prayers to you in Portland, Maine. It sounds like it's pretty intense out
It's a
there
war
for our
zone there.
daughter.
So like we were just giggling about that, but she did a really good job. You could tell it was really heartfelt that she'd chosen him and done a really, really good job.
Yeah, that was special to
So
her.
Rachel says, not a great week. My sweet youngest has been diagnosed with asthma, unfortunately, but it will get. Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that, Rachel. Hopefully, like the things that they prescribe to help your youngest with that, though, will like make it manageable. And because that can be kind of scary too when they start having asthma attacks and you're not quite sure what's going on. So, like, our thoughts and prayers are with you and your youngest.
Like sometimes there's like different degrees of it, so hopefully it isn't that bad.
See, Darren, I'll agree. We're going to have a debate on what's the worst poop. I will 100% take dog or cat crap over chicken poop. Any bird type poo. It's mostly because like their urine and their feces is mixed in one. So it's like a runny, stinky horribleness. And
it gets everywhere.
Yeah. Hey, Don, how are you over there at a little mountain life?
He said, bring your turkey to work day. Yeah, it was, definitely.
Yeah, it spurred on those funny dad jokes where it's like, why was the turkey in the band? And it was because he had his own drumsticks.
Yep.
So I was like, oh, did you?
Yeah.
So it was a good conversation starter piece for it, and it made for great pictures.
Emma said, Veterans Day is always tough to get through at the office. So many great stories. It's hard to focus, but we all love it. Yeah. It's a sort of a somber holiday, but definitely worth it, especially for everyone that served.
Don, can you attest that Portland, Maine is crazy? It was funny. Like we just had to giggle. If you made
it through there, I guess you're a survivor, though.
Yeah, duck crap is bad, Emma. Yeah. Yes, especially when they make their little splatty noises while they're doing it. Oh, great, we started off our chat talking about poop.
Huss said, it jumped up. So we just got a whole home air filter for our AC to combat asthma.
Oh, wow. I bet that's tougher down south because Dusty Goat, you're also in Florida just like Haas is. Yep. So I'm guessing you guys probably have it a lot tougher down there.
Congrats to Haas. I think he got his first Santa contract.
Did you get your first Santa contract, Haas? That's awesome if you did.
He was talking about his like Venmo account. So that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I've been researching that air rifle you were talking about for Lewis and Clark. I think it's pretty cool. So
of course you gave Marty something to walk away from our chat last time and was like, I gotta look it up. So Nightfall Homestead just got your Thanksgiving haul yesterday. Yeah, we were actually talking about this, how Thanksgiving has the potential to be like the most expensive that it's ever been.
Yeah.
Granted, you can actually get what you want. I was seeing some of the prices for turkey was super high.
Meat in general, honestly.
Meat in general, yeah.
I think I saw a study or report that said that meat prices were up, I think, like almost 9% in general.
That's crazy.
It's
crazy. So are you guys out there, are you guys preparing for Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners now? Because we actually saw a couple of prepping series. So we follow Hodgepodge Homestead and Freedom Homestead, and they're all kind of doing like prepping series right now.
Which we're like definitely in tune to watch. And
we're in tune to watch, but like I this is super selfish of me, like just as a content creator and someone that wants to share and encourage other people to be self-sufficient and to prepare for things. But I've almost gotten to the point, like, I don't want to share what I prep, you know, like I don't want it to be out like what we have in our home. So I'm definitely battling with that right now because I would like to also start a series on how to start prepping like on a small scale, because a lot of people like think about preppers and they think like you've got a gas mask like in your purse and you're waiting for like the zombie apocalypse, and that's totally not what it's about. Preparedness doesn't mean that you're
a lot
psychotic.
of different elements to it too.
Yeah, so. I think it's just the way that it's very much portrayed. Mm-hmm. So when people were talking about Thanksgiving, I mean, we were watching preppers like, yeah, I've already got my Thanksgiving meals. The moment that things started to go a little haywire on the grocery store shelves, when we started getting our stuff ready for our Thanksgiving dinner so that we wouldn't be inconvenienced. I'm like, that's actually super smart. Yeah. Because a lot of us are going to go like the week of and try to hit the supermarket when everybody else is, and it's going to be a little crazy.
Yeah. Darren said that I spent 3.5 years in the reserves and spent a week in a 1-foot trench with 3 hours of sleep that week.
Oh my gosh.
However, I lost a very close friend in Iraq to friendly fire. Oh, so sorry to hear that.
That's so awful, Darren. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, 1-foot trench with 3 hours of sleep. Ashley would not survive.
No.
I do much better on lack of sleep. But we all have our limits. So eventually it hits me.
I went to bed at 8 o'clock like on Monday because the time changed. I was like, no, I'm going to bed now. It was sad.
Audra said human poop is the worst.
Yes. It depends on the human and what their diet is.
Bruce is here tonight.
Hello, Bruce.
Said, hey.
Maybe after a trip to Taco Bell. Yes. Emma. Yes.
That could do it.
It's a colon cleanse.
Rachel said, I'll be working, unfortunately, but my mom is cooking for me on Friday after.
Oh, that's nice. So actually, my mom is not doing it this Saturday, but next Saturday. So she's doing it the Saturday before, just because it gets a little bit crazy. Anybody that's married or you have multiple sides of the family that you're trying to visit, sometimes that day it's awful because like you just stuff yourself and stuff yourself and stuff yourself, which sometimes is super fun, but not when you have to run 2 places and move. So that'll be nice. We'll have like a whole week to recuperate.
And then I always turn into like a boa constrictor and just want to lay there and let it digest.
Yeah.
So it's always tough. But it's like finally time to go home. You just don't want to move.
Yeah. And we sit there and just rest for a long time before we get up and go, which is fine because we're around loved ones and people that we love just to spend time with. So
Darren said to Emma, I won't deal with duck poop or duck noises. However, we are going to have goat arguments this spring.
Goats are going to be magnificent. Yep. You're going to love them. And you're getting French alpines. Marky grew up with alpines. So he was super excited to hear that you guys were getting alpines.
Yeah, I love that breed. Emma said, I'm hoping we stay home for Thanksgiving by ourselves, but we don't eat turkey.
Yeah, we don't eat turkey at Christmas. Actually, I always go over to my mom's house, and on Christmas Eve, we're with my mom. On Christmas morning, we're with his mom, and they do breakfast. So there's like sausage and bacon. But for my mom, I always make chicken cordon bleu. That's like our tradition. So turkey won't impact us. And if turkey gets too hard to come by and we really, really want turkey, then Thomas, the Narragansett turkey, is outside. And if it comes down to it, Mr. Thomas will just have to bear the brunt of it, I guess.
Haas said, I'm not a fan of Thanksgiving dinner, so I'm good with no turkey if need
I'm not a fan of turkey either. We always had like hams and chicken and dumplings and stuff.
Little Mountain said, not worried about Thanksgiving Day food yet. Traveling to Cincy to see family.
You should stop
So we are just putting together a side dish when we get there.
You're going to be in Cincy, Don? You're going to be like 35 minutes from us, brother. Seriously, that's so cool.
More like probably 45.
No, 35. We drive fast.
Yeah.
I drive fast.
She does. Our suspension can
shut
our
up.
backrest. Haas said, also not worried about meat. We got hogs by the plenty, free for the taking.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah, but think about how many people that don't have that though. Like that's where I get worried because it's deer season. So I mean, I've been out in the woods several times already.
What me and Haas need to do is get some of those air rifles and go down there and we'll do a hog hunt together.
That would be amazing.
We could do hog hunting with Santa.
Yeah.
Go out in a Santa outfit.
Yeah.
Think that would work?
Sure, why not? They wouldn't care.
Be kids friendly.
They wouldn't care. Ho ho ho! You know.
Emma said, "I think there's a fine line between prepping and homesteading. I'm definitely not a prepper."
Yeah, I think there is a fine line as well. I just get really irritated when someone's like, "Oh, like when you talk about preparing for something." That they're just like they automatically go to this like that you're wearing a tinfoil hat and that you've got a gas mask. And I'm like, I might wear those things anyways, but I'm not a prepper either.
I just don't like when they try to draw lines at things and try to sort of group you into something.
Yeah.
I know Darren had a good one, like a video not too long ago about that. Like, what what am I called? And it was like, am I homesteader? It was like all these tags. And really,
but I think that also comes down to society where we very much depend on labeling ourselves and identifying as whatever we choose to identify as. Where I'm like, I don't care what you think I am. I don't even know what I am. I'm just here to make myself happy and be self-sufficient.
Yep. Brenda Baker said we just do Cornish hens for Thanksgiving.
They're
Andra
yummy.
said we do a communal Thanksgiving here. Everyone brings a dish or two, so it's not stressful. That would definitely help with the big dinner.
Hi, Kate from Wonderland Acres. How are you, dear?
Whoa.
Oh, whoa.
Darren said you can share what your prep. I can see Mark in the bushline with his BCM and Ashley in a tree with a compound bow.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah. I even took off work yesterday and was decided I was going to flex so I could get one more time out in the stand before the Orange Army invades, which we will be part of the Orange Army, so it doesn't really matter. But I was hoping to catch some pre-rut action. It's slow pickings here in Indiana.
But there is some action going on because, like, you go out in the woods and you can hear crashing, or you go out in the backyard and you can hear crashing through the woods nearby.
Yeah.
So
I saw
they're definitely chasing.
They are chasing.
Like the face he gave me. I said there's action.
I know. I was like, what?
Rachel said, I've been cooking it for the last 6 years or so, but this year I'm taking a break.
That's good, though. I think every now and then, like, people should rotate and take their turn at preparing. It's not fun for the person who gets to prepare it year after year after year.
Yep, for sure. She said also we do Christmas breakfast, too, on Christmas morning with the family. I love breakfast food, so that's always one of my favorites.
Yeah, 100%. But I know, like, we're all kind of cranky because, like, the kids have opened up presents and we've not eaten yet. And we're like, we get there, we're like, we're hungry. So that's when everybody's like calling one another, are you there? Are we all on time because we're hungry? Because it's kind of a rule. You don't eat unless everybody's there yet.
Yeah. Emma said, we do tamales at Christmas. All the tamales.
Get in my belly. Chicken corn blue does rock. Yeah. And I really enjoy making it.
Sometimes. I
only make it one time a year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of prep to it, but hey, it's all right. No way. I knew you were in Indiana, but didn't realize how close. My brother's on the west side in Colerain. We go to Colerain like all the time.
Actually,
and my parents live next to CVG in Kentucky. Very cool.
When we would drive to work, since working from home, we don't have to. But our office was in Fairfield, which isn't far from Colerain. It's like a stone throws from Colerain.
And
actually would go through Colerain on the way. Yep.
Yeah, all the time. That's so cool. Small world, huh, buddy?
And my parents lived next to CVG in Kentucky. And that's where we went.
That's where we went to get our rental car to go down to Tennessee.
Because the airport had the best rates. So, Dee's Homestead.
Hello, Dee's Homestead. What's up? Guys, if you have a second tomorrow, Google Sergeant Andrew Dorian. Doiron. Yeah. I'm terrible. Hooked on phonics right here. Marky looked up those thank you for sharing those songs with Marky last week. We stayed up way too late watching them and
watched
dying.
The whole Rejected video, which was hilarious.
Then Mark showed it to Joe, and she's like, "What is this?"
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
Now, is he your friend that was he was hit by friendly fire in Iraq? Darren, is that who that is? Darren said, "I had fun with That's Who I Am video. However, some took it too serious."
Well, someone's always going to take something seriously.
A good attitude, though. You did it sort of a comical way, and also just prove the point. Labels don't always work.
No, they really don't. I hate when someone wants to label, be like, "This is what you are." I'm like, or it's not, because I'm a lot more than just that one thing. Ashley, Mark, hello, Adrian. Yes. So, Mark, you did not know, but Adrian from Farmstead Smith has changed hers to the Dree Journal, but she's still got Farmstead Smith there at the end, so you know.
Farmstead Smith.
So, Adrian, how's everything going? I am feeling for you over here today because your donkeys went to their new home today, and I know that there's nothing I could say to make you feel better, and you are entitled 100% to your feelings and sorrow while you're preparing for the next chapter in your life. And I just want to say, I love you, girl, and I feel for you. I'm trying to send all the good prayers and vibes I can to you, because that is just so tough. But soon the Virgin Islands are awaiting you, and when we're all up here cold and hating our weather, you're going to be showing us pictures of wild seahorses and your toes in the sand, and we're going to be super jealous. just thought I'd tell you that.
Little Mountain said, "Oh yeah, I know Fairfield. I grew up west of Toledo, but went to high school in northern Kentucky."
Oh, how neat!
So you know the tri-state area pretty well then.
Yeah.
Darren said, "I'm heading out Friday. Hopefully more meat in the freezer."
Yes.
Wish you luck on that.
We're
Darren.
going out Saturday, all three of us. So we actually went to go sight in all of our booms. Well, he didn't, because now that the time changes, we only have 1 hour after he's done with work before to like go to the range and sight everything in. So looks like I'll be taking a 30-06. Joe's taking a Grendel.
Yep, her Grendel again. I built.
Yeah, and I don't know what he's taking.
Either 44 or 458 SOCOM.
I would like to visit the range one more time because I flinch like a mofo. I can lock up for compound, but there's just something about after the first 4 shots, I just really anticipate that recoil and like I jerk. So yeah, I need more practice.
Rachel said, "How's the goat honeymoons going?"
Oh my God, my buck stinks so bad.
Yeah.
He smells terrible.
She's busy accommodating them pretty consistently.
It's kind of gross though, because like the girls all come and stand like at the fence, so I know who's in heat, and there are lots of different signs for.
This is the first year we sort of did it this way.
Yeah, so this is the first year that we've actually done what we would.
Part of it's because we have so many bucks on the premises.
What you would call hand breeding, which means like a doe goes into heat. I notice she's in heat. I wait until like I can tell she is in a standing heat, and then I take her out and I go grab the buck that I want to breed her to, and I let them have alone time a couple of times, and then I separate them. And it's kind of awful though, because now when the bucks see me coming with a collar or like a piece of twine, they know someone's getting taken out and they get super excited. So like I've got them like super trained in to get very excited over rope. So I have bondage goats, like they're just into the weird kink stuff right now. That's what's going on here. I'm
TMI.
I knew Mark was gonna be like, ew, but it's I think we might be halfway through. I still have a lot to breed though. So
Adrian said, "I'm recovering from crying. I took a nap."
I'm glad you took a nap, because
Bruce said, "I'm in a loud bar, so I can't hear, but I'm watching."
Well, good, because you didn't hear anything about goats being turned on by kink and bondage. So there's that. Saved you that embarrassment.
And Taryn said, "Oh yeah, top secret, trying to find an engagement ring so I can propose before you."
What? Brigitte better not be in here.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm excited. Yeah, don't let her. Don't know. Just tell her we hated on goats the whole time.
Adrian said, "Did changing my name remove my wrenchie?"
I think it did.
It looks like it.
I think it did. I will go back and give you your wrenchie though, because we actually needed wrenchies last week for like the first time ever.
Yep.
Someone's in here being a fool, which is fine. Maybe I can wrenchie you now. That sounds so
Little
bad.
Mountain said, "Wish I had time to take a deer this year, but still too busy. Definitely happening next fall." Yeah.
It is time consuming.
Yeah.
It is a sacrifice. You can ask him like the first part of the season, I didn't go bow hunt almost most of October because we were in the middle of projects. So I'm like, I feel bad kind of dropping that time. But right now there's so much movement. And honestly, I have until January, the first weekend in January with bow. But in our area, once gun season happens, like the deer patterns completely change. A lot of them go back to being nocturnal, obviously slow, and the populations get knocked down around us pretty hard because we have a lot of deer. But that, and then we want to process one ourselves this year. So I took off yesterday, the first part of the day, and came home. Was like, I don't know why I did that, because like I would have had to come home and work, and to
it was warm out.
It was like 60 some degrees. I'm like, we would not have been able to hang a deer and to butcher it and keep it like all the way that it needs to be, nice and cool. Like Saturday will be perfect. It's supposed to be like a high of like 39. It might barely get into the 40s, so it'll be a good time to take a deer on Saturday.
For sure.
It's the opener of gun season, so we're hoping.
Darren said, "Oh, the rejected cartoons." Yes.
It was fantastic. My spoon is too big. I just kept saying that all week. Mark's like, stop. People do not understand. And the one about
the weird hats only, I think it was, or crazy hats only. That
one was awful.
Adrian said it's hard. It's been hard getting here lately with the move.
I totally understand that. Like, you don't have to apologize at all. No. If anybody's ever outside of our chat or hasn't been like leaving comment, you could be just like me. Like, I watch a lot of YouTube content and I hate commenting.
Yeah.
I never know what to say, and I always feel like I come off as like just super cliche and cheesy. So like I will give you the watch time, which is what I personally need, but not so much the engagement. So you don't have to apologize. Life gets busy. I know you're busy, lady. It's okay.
Yeah.
I do.
Dee's Homestead, hoping to get out tomorrow. Well, good luck to you.
Yay, exciting.
Be sure to let us know if you get something.
So are you guys in bow or are you guys in gun already? I can't remember where you're at, Dee's. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
we get so many different.
Got a little bit longer to go, but
yeah, our gun season opens up on Saturday. I would love to get out again with the bow one more time because we are like
Rachel
when
said,
the big boys are starting to trip
amazing. And she's talking about the bucks.
Sure. Oh, they smell like.
Well, the one has urine scald. He's gotten so
his face is black from all the urine on his face. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
And he wants to come up and like lick me and like kiss me. And I'm like, can we wait till after breeding season before we show affection? I don't really want to scratch you in your
Adrian
face.
said, I think the lens is dirty on your camera.
It probably is.
I don't think that's
no. It's probably the light like drowning us out right above us.
Mm-hmm.
Did that work? And this laptop is like ancient, so that's probably part of it.
Yeah,
too.
you do one.
Even though I have my iPad here and I could easily go off my iPad, but I was editing right before we went live, so I was like, no, we're not doing that.
I said what I missed. I had to deal with a devastated little boy because a baby gecko, his pet, they deemed just this morning, died. Oh, that's a bummer for Owen.
I'm not the best with empathy, but I
try. We gotta get bunnies fast. Bunnies will help resolve that, I think. But
oh my gosh,
I hate to hear that.
I'm
Poor
so
guy.
Sorry, Owen, about the baby gecko.
We'll
it's
say
in
Owen
a better
was,
place now.
Was cracking us up though in your life. He was like running around the background.
Oh my
having
god,
a good old time. He would just like announce when he came.
He's like, "I'm back."
Yeah.
Like, yes, you are. So cute.
A little mountain like your bondage goats.
Well, it's not untrue.
BDSG.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like they
I
really
take no
get
part
excited.
in that.
They really clamor to the door. But also, like addressing that, Mark Note said that we're hand breeding this year because we had like a buck issue.
My Google bot's about to go crazy.
Oh, sorry, Google bots. Ignore all the bondage talking goats in the same sentence.
Kink and bondage. I miss all the good stuff. Yeah, generally not a homestead topic. I don't think I've
seen. It's true though. I mean, I whip out the twine and it's like the crowd goes wild, and I know why. They've associated.
Like we said, though, we fortunately got rid of some bucks lately. So
actually,
the risk
Sunday we got rid of 4.
Yeah.
So one lady came and took 3, and she said these are going to be teaser bucks. So she was actually going to take them to the vet and have vasectomies done on them. I asked, like, are you going to Burgizo or are you going to crush? Because then you can still keep the ornaments. Because if Googlebot doesn't like goats in bondage, it's not going to like me saying like the actual male genitalia of the goat. But you kind of crush it so that it's still there, but they're not useful. Ow. But they're going to be teaser bucks, so they're going to still keep all their parts. They'll just be shooting blanks, and they'll think they're getting with all the ladies, but they're just letting them know when the ladies are ready for like the real guys. Yeah. And then Kat from Wolf's Head Forge and Farm actually met me in Harrison, Ohio. Her and Denny, and adopted one of our
busy at
bucks.
lunch, so I didn't get to meet them.
Yeah, they were over at Taco Bell, so I got to go say hello to them, and they actually took one of our bucks home to be a junior herd sire for next year. So he will get to do his job.
Dee said you did miss it, Haas.
I went there. I'm sorry. I try to keep it like pretty chill, but sometimes it just happens.
Darren, 450 Bushmaster, dead right there.
Nice.
That will hammer.
Super nice. Wrench her already. I'm trying.
Yeah, she's a little slow on the trigger. Little Mountain said, yeah, I'll butcher it myself, so it's a time commitment on top of the hunt itself.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
That's the hard thing. Like, we were looking at it, and like a big part of it's because we enjoy it. But as you mentioned, the amount of time it takes to go out and hunt. If you butcher it yourself, you got to do that.
Well, even if you field dress and take it to a processor, that's still a lot.
And then got to go pick it up. And then the fees for like the license, the pay a processor if you do that. Hunting gear isn't cheap. So like there's a lot of cost and time into it where it's a hard payoff. Like especially if you go out a lot of times. I mean, you could spend quite a bit of time out there for
that's
not
a lot
much
of hours
reward
for no return.
Yeah.
relaxing, great for the soul. So if like you find a
we
connection
do
there,
enjoy
that's
it.
fine.
So it's a part of the drive.
Like,
so if you enjoy it, totally understand.
I look forward to being out in the stand, but like he's totally right. One of the guys that I used to work with, he's like, so he wanted to get into hunting, and he's like, so it's like not like expensive or anything. And I'm like, well, he's like, it's not expensive. I'm like, let's just say between like a self-climbing stand and my bow and all my gear, I walk out in $1,000 easy. I walk out in $1,000 worth of equipment, clothes, everything. If they were like new right off of the shelf, right then and there. He's like, no way. I'm like, yeah. I mean, like, it's expensive to hunt. The overall initial investment is just steep, man.
Yeah.
It is steep. You've got to be dedicated to want to do it.
Homestead is in Pennsylvania. And
next weekend
over wraps up archery here.
Wow. So do you guys go into so no more archery after next weekend? You guys have like a firearm season that happens? Ours goes from October 1st to like the first weekend in January is archery regardless. So
hey, Cheryl Guest and T-Hand 141 Homestead.
How is everyone doing tonight? Sorry, I'm trying to wrench Adrian, but I'm just terrible at this stuff.
Adrian said, wait, Dan, you said you'd butcher yourself?
Yeah. It's
painful.
Yeah.
He meant butcher the deer, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
She's playing a fun one.
Semantics.
Rachel said, I hope you guys have a fantastic night. Thank you, Mark and Ashley.
Rachel.
Always so happy and fun to watch or chat with.
Well, have a good night, Rachel. Enjoy your time. I know you have a stressful job, so enjoy your downtime, lady. You deserve it.
Darren said, I still want a kitchen tour. Love the colors. We definitely have to clean up.
I know. My kitchen is always a mess. Why was it a mess? Oh, we did our first duck yesterday.
Plus, when she makes a warmer, there's always a bunch of
stuff
laying around.
It's herbal, though. Like, I could eat it, and it would be fine for me. Not that I want to eat my goat dewormer, but I could if I wanted to. And the reason I use the herbal is because then I can butcher and milk, and I have no withdrawal periods.
Old Reading Farm here tonight.
Hello, Old Reading Farm.
So
hello,
cozy
Kat.
next to the campfire.
I know. I love the ambient noise from your guys' campfire. It's just like, love it. Very relaxing.
Oh, sure.
Paste. I'm so terrible.
Darren with his hand reading. He's always up to some honoriness.
Yeah. Darren, you need to clean it up, buddy. We love you, Darren. We really do. Oh my goodness.
Once he gets to go too long time for all
I know.
that, it'll drain it from him for sure. Adrian said, like, beekeeping can be expensive, definitely. Yes. So, what is it? Man's Lake. I just saw an email, and they have like a big sale on a lot of their items, including their hives. So we're thinking about probably adding in our hive at least to keep for next year. If anybody has any swarms, we can be ready for them. So hopefully Black Friday shopping will have some deals on a lot of things we're looking for.
And honestly, like, Adrian, with beekeeping, like, you can almost never have enough supplies just because you never know how things are going to shake out.
Haas said, you don't need to spend a bunch on hunting gear. History says all you need is a couple sticks, stones, and a loincloth. Throw that on Marky and film it. You will get your watch hours. I feel like YouTube would probably just totally take you off.
Doing that? Yeah. You got to talk him into.
Anybody else wants to see that?
Film you.
Definitely a deer would not want to see that. A deer would see that and be like, nope.
What in the world? And then they would get, then hear us talk about goat bondage, and they'd be like, we need the heck out of here.
But for camouflage, in that case, you'd have to rub mud all over your body. Yeah.
People also lived outdoors around that time, and they smelled like outdoors.
So I would look like a white ghost running through the woods. That's for sure. T-Hand 141 says, but you can get it over time. It's cheaper. That's true.
This is true.
Dee's Homestead boomstick is after Thanksgiving, and then archery again after Christmas. So similar to our schedule.
You're just 2 weeks behind us on like the archery. Do you guys have a moratorium where you guys are not allowed to go out in the woods? I think we used to have that in Indiana. Now, like, our deer population is insane. So
Old Reading said fire ASMR. Yep, and then nailed it.
100%. You guys definitely nailed it. You guys probably could get watch hours of that too. You can make money off that live.
So I was like messing with the TV last night, and I put on, it was like heavy rain on a metal roof or something like that. Like, it's supposed to make you go to sleep, and actually
I was
in
so
like 2
happy.
minutes.
Like I sat there, it's gone.
I watched it for about 15 minutes. I'm like, this ain't
It didn't work for you?
Did not.
Yeah, I wouldn't need that to fall asleep, though, to be completely 100% honest. I wouldn't. I'm being honest.
Adrian said, I always had enough equipment to have at least 2 more colonies.
Yeah.
That's a good practice.
Yeah, because you just never know when one's going to swarm, or you need to split, or you just need to like house a couple thousand bees at some point. Why am I terrible at this?
Emma, send Ashley out in that gear. Watch hours within 24 hours guaranteed. The loincloth and all that.
I don't know. There's a whole lot going on.
See, when it's you on that
it's a whole lot.
That end of the spectrum, all of a sudden it's a little more hesitant. Yeah, there's enough other YouTube channels out there that do that. So
why can't it? I hate this thing. It keeps telling me that users cannot be found.
She's having technical difficulties here. For sure.
I'm fine. It's fine. It's all fine.
Adrian, this dang watch hours too. Yeah, Ashley's
I know.
Definitely feeling the
Hey,
struggle.
Steve, how are you? Hello, Margie.
Well, Margie's
how are you?
Too.
Don't apologize for being late. We're just glad that you're here, lady.
Mm-hmm. T-Hand 141 says, back in the day, the old timers wore red plaid jackets and a rifle. My dad took a lot of deer like that.
Yeah.
The old Woolricks gear, like a red flannel.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know.
I've just bought you a jacket that has a red flannel.
You
should try it and see. Heck, I know people that like smoke cigarettes and stuff in their stand and still have them come up. So
yeah, 100%.
A lot of it's luck.
100%.
So. And then sometimes you can be like totally decked out and not see a thing. And I'm okay if I see a couple because I like to watch them too. Mm-hmm. So just seeing something makes my day. So Audra said, I listen to Heavy Rain with black screen every single night. I can see why.
Nice.
It is soothing.
It's very soothing.
Yeah, it helps relax you before you go to sleep.
Hey, equal treatment and all. This is true.
Adrian said, today is rough. Sweeney's Creek Farm, the donkeys left today.
So tough. I don't know how you're doing
it. Darren, Mark puts on a loincloth and I'll give you your watch hours.
Oh, goodness. Double face, laugh, laugh.
I can't beat the Darren and the hoodie shots with the cows in the background.
Yeah.
That definitely.
That kills me.
Mm-hmm.
That kills me. I don't know. I just really hoping we fill a deer tag this weekend.
Yeah.
You can ask him. It's been consuming me. 100%.
Actually, because like our freezer, we have quite a bit of
poultry.
We tried the duck the other day for the first time, which was awesome. It turned out well. Duck are a little different because the texture is a lot different than you would think for a bird. It's almost more like a red meat style. Texture, taste, consistency, whatever you want to say. But our freezer for the deer, we're just down to hamburger meat and like the breakfast sausages. So we don't actually have any more steaks left, unfortunately. No, so that's one reason we want to get a deer because we're down to.
And I really like deer
some
steaks.
Of the basics.
Mark cooks it like a pro. He cooks it to where you can't.
I had to watch a lot of YouTube videos, but I got it down.
He does a fantastic job.
There is like deer is really different to cook. Like you can't cook it like a regular steak just because the fat and the fiber.
Yeah,
it's just a lot different.
Yeah. And Haas says, I listen to Texas High Def's Rain channel when writing. It's the audio form of Adderall for me. Yeah, I can see why. I mean, it is super relaxing.
No, I watch a lot of the people walking around cities. I don't know why, but there's one guy I watch and he like follows all the cops in New York City.
Yeah.
He's entertaining. Yeah,
he's
like
really
funny.
Interesting.
His personality is a little wild.
And then we were watching like a live cam of the Namibia desert, and it was a bunch of hemsbach around a watering hole.
Cool. Yeah.
And that was super cool because like we were picking out like, okay, so that you could tell it was like a family group. And of course I'm sitting there and I'm like, there's so many females and you have like 2 or 3 males. I'm like, this male's missing a tail and this guy's got a lip. And Mark's like, just watch it. You don't have to analyze the health of the animal. He's like, this is not your herd. I'm like,
commentary with Ashley.
I was like, but it's good practice.
Mm-hmm. Where to begin?
Mark. Hello, where to begin?
It says they say I have been listening to the Black Screen Ocean this week. I sleep at least.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whatever helps, I don't need a whole lot of help sleeping. Yeah. I'm one of those people.
I watched the other day, like it was this I clicked on the
what did you
comment.
Do?
I watched the other day where it was like the space station going across the sky, and that was pretty neat. It was weird though because they were hitting time zones and actually catching sunsets and sunrises because they're traveling that fast. It was pretty cool to watch it. The music was peaceful, which helped too. Emma said, "Man, that dog is barking already, starting early tonight."
Oh, is that dog still there?
That's right.
Is that dog still there? Oh, Emma.
Old Rating said, that duck looked good.
It was good.
Looked like Food Network magazine. Yeah, it was good. One thing I would say is we learned from it. We wanted to thaw it a little bit more. We put it in the fridge the day before, so it was still slightly frozen. It was pretty
thawed out, somewhat, but it was still very frozen.
And then, honestly, we would like to put the glaze on a little bit earlier because it helps if you crisp the skin
as much as I would have liked. The skin was good, but like even I was glad Mark had done a little bit of research about how to cook duck before, because he's like, the fat will have no way to get out because we didn't skin a lot of people will skin ducks because they don't want to have to mess with defeathering them, which I totally understand. We did have some pin feathers because I got, quite frankly, was like, I'm done plucking. Like, we're just going to eat feathers. But he was good. He was scoring the skin so that the fat could actually drip out.
They have a lot of fat.
They have a ton of fat, but it made it very, very juicy. So it was actually really, really good.
And like, there's a lot of recipes out there, but I'll be honest, like we just try to keep it pretty simple. So ours was just a salt and black pepper rub at the beginning, and then a honey and lemon juice glaze. And honestly, it wasn't like measured out or anything. Just
it was really good. The only thing that I found, like for me personally, that was kind of like up here was duck can be medium rare. I mean, you can leave it not all the way done. It's a darker meat, so it can actually be like a glistening pink in there, and you're fine. Whereas in like if you cut into other poultry like chicken, could kill you. So like for me, like getting into the darker cuts of meat, where it was pink, and you could tell like they had described that it should have the same consistency as like a steak. It shouldn't be as like pull apart and flaked as a chicken. And it met that. It was actually really good, really, really good. But I probably will next time that when we do process our own ducks, I probably will scorch pin feathers. Just take like a little blowtorch and just go right over and scorch off the remaining pin feathers, just like you would. We've been watching a lot of deer processing videos, and a lot of the people there were like, hey, just keep the hair out of your meat. You just take a little bit of a torch and scorch the hairs off. It won't damage your meat or anything, but it'll take care of those hairs being in there.
These Homestead said, roll the back strap in flour and fry it in butter. Yummy. Yes.
We don't usually fry our venison though.
Yeah, but a lot of people do, and
a lot of people do, and it's good.
A lot of things are good.
A hens box, so
an African animal,
an African antelope type deal.
It's like, I don't know, like a deer style animal, but it doesn't look anything like a deer.
Yeah, I was right. It was a hem spot.
I think Darren follows Q.
Do you follow Q? He's fantastic.
And they're in Africa right now, and I think they're hunting those. That's one.
It's a hem spot.
They're pretty cool. And like they were all around the watering hole when the video. It was a live video. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was really neat. And watching them like interact, their horns were super, super long. It was kind of crazy.
Emma said the dog is still here. Oh.
No luck. Really, he looks so well groomed and taken care of too, though. Like he didn't look like he was. I hope nobody just dropped him off. That breaks my heart.
Adrian said that's how they scare off coyotes.
Yes, 100%. That's what peers are known for.
Darren, I get to eat beaver tomorrow. And yes, I know you're thinking, Darren, stop. But yes, Brigitte brought home someone else's beaver. So we're going to do kebabs tomorrow basted. Sounds amazing. I didn't know you could actually eat.
I just couldn't. I couldn't with the whole
you're
thing.
Like a child.
It's Darren too, but they're supposed to have like a high fat content like bear, from what I was reading, that they actually have like a sweet meat.
So also, do you like tan the pelts or anything, Darren? Because beavers like got really good pelts.
Yeah, we do have those here.
Yeah,
we do have. We've actually seen them hit on the road a couple times. Yeah.
Honestly, though, we see more evidence of them hitting the trees. Than
because like it is just like the cartoon, like they do gnaw like right in it. It's pretty cool. Yeah, Adrian, ducks were good. It was good. I didn't really know what to expect. it was different. It was a lot more different than what I thought it would taste like, but it was great.
Mm-hmm.
Duck in ramen at a local Asian. See, and the thing is, like when I got on and started looking at duck recipes, there are just so many different ways to cook them.
Yeah.
And and I know there's a lot of different ways to cook chicken too, but like I think it made it feel more exotic for me. So I was like, this is really good.
T-Hand 141, I know you was saying this to Darren, but he said his brother-in-law traps and cooked up some beaver, and it tasted a lot like bear meat,
Sweet.
Which makes sense.
I heard bear meat is supposed to be sweet. I've had elk before, and that was a sweeter venison than I was used to. I liked it. It was very good.
Audra said, I've had medium rare duck. It's good. Yeah, that's a nice thing. Like Ashley was saying, that you can cook it, unlike poultry where you don't want it anywhere close to raw.
I kept having to get over that. Like in the deep thigh, like in the thigh, like deep, like into that specific joint. Like it just, in chicken, pink. You'll find it where it's pink. And it was a little pink there. And I was like, oh, and I'm like, it's duck. It's different, you know? Yeah. So it had to retrain yourself.
I didn't mind. She just gave me the legs and
I had some of the legs. Yeah.
Joe liked it too. So
yeah, Joe, it was a win. So if Joe likes something new like that, we're like, yes.
Adrian said no beaver can cause giardia and all that, but I always get sad about beaver hunting because they create ecosystems. I wonder how it'll taste, Darren.
Yeah, I've heard it's supposed to be really sweet. I heard it's supposed to be really, really sweet. Hello, Patty.
Hello,
welcome.
Hello. Darren said, did you make a wish on space junk burning up on its way into our atmosphere?
We saw one right after our live last week. We were taking the garbage out, like, oh, it's a shooting star.
Yep.
Like, make a wish.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been a couple of them lately.
Yeah.
People.
I want to keep thinking of
the other night. There was like several planets you could see if we went out.
Yeah.
I'd gone to bed. My dad called me. He's like, "Hey, did you see this?" I was like, "Yeah, I saw it, but I didn't take a look." So I went outside. And he was on the phone with me. We were looking. I think we just we were.
Of course.
Joe came out to have a room because she was wondering what I was doing going outside, and we saw. I think we saw Saturn. No, it was Jupiter and
Jupiter.
Venus. I think
I thought those were the two.
There was also Saturn. But
was Saturn out there too?
We didn't see three.
Did you guys go out and see the planets?
Pretty prominent, so you could see them. Like they definitely stood out from the stars.
Thanks, Darren. Now every time I see a shooting star, I think space junk. I want to keep thinking it's a shooting star.
Emma said, found out the doggo is a girl, not a boy. Oh. She's super sweet and joins me during chores. We can't keep her though. Oh. Sounds like she made a friend though.
You could check her for a little tattoo to see if she's been spayed spayed. Yeah, because June has a little just a little bar tattoo that marks her that she's been spayed.
Brigitte's family, Darren said, used to trap and hunt a lot, so they did a ton of beaver, more than I ate. So I'm interested to really try it. Yeah.
That's cool. That's super cool.
Adrian said, when I was little, I was wader fishing with my dad and a beaver swam up to us. They're so big. My dad was like, don't move. And I was like, touch it.
We saw one, actually one of the local lakes, and it was crazy because something was veeing the water, and we were like, what could that be? What could that be? And I was like, muskrat, but then it was much bigger. And it turned out to be a beaver.
A dead one while we were canoeing, remember? It was like, what is that big thing in the water?
It was a dead beaver.
It was huge.
Yeah, it was really big.
It was probably at least
very, very
3-4 times bigger than a raccoon. So
yeah.
It was giant. Yeah, remember we were like, what is that? Staring to eat the tail. I've heard you can eat the tail. I don't know if it's true or not. But
the tail's so pretty though.
He also said, I know Ranella loves the meat but hates the tail, doesn't care if it's a delicacy or not.
Yeah.
So
yes, we sell Q up here.
Right
I'm supposed to be getting one of their mystery shirts.
Yep.
From Q.
And if she wins the grand prize, that would be
I guess I'll let him have that. In exchange maybe for another goat. I'll hold them hostage.
I will take that shade. Audra said, I've heard bear liver can kill you. Too much vitamin A, I think.
Wow, really?
Isn't that funny how little things like that? Like we were reading not too long ago that rabbit meat, you can starve to death if you eat just rabbit meat because there's not enough.
Lean. There's not enough fat. Not enough fat.
Let's see. T-Hand 141 says the tail makes a really nice wallet leather. Oh.
I've heard it's supposed to be really cool. Soft, like a soft leather.
Do they make boots out of beaver tail? It seems like they make boots out of all kinds of skins and stuff like that. So I wonder if they make a cowboy boots out of it.
I don't know. Maybe
they make out of snake skin. I've seen shark boots, lizard, all kinds of stuff. I bet they would make it out of beaver.
I bet they would. But I thought it was supposed to be like a really soft
leather. I wish you could keep the doggo. Emma would be a good addition.
I know.
Would have a great owner as Emma.
You saw them tonight, Audra? So there's a chance I could still see them. Someone didn't wake me up to go see them the other night. Even though he knows, like, don't wake me up.
Well, the thing was, I didn't know if they'd be out there. Because, like, all the pictures they said was, like, early sunset.
Yeah.
So by the time I went out, like, it wasn't quite as visible as everybody was showing. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
Sounds like they're still out there, though.
Emma, I've heard good things about the Miramas. Every time when we were looking for livestock guardians, they look just like a Great Pyr, but they don't seem like they like to roam as much. They're just as loud, but they don't like to roam as because I know a lot of people here actually have problems keeping their Great Pyrenees in because they like to roam long distances. It's just part of their breed. So, along with being super duper vocal.
Let's see, you read that one by Audra right now, Venus and Jupiter.
Yes. Yep. I'll have to go out and look after we're done here because I would really like to see that.
T-Hand 141 said they get up to around 60 pounds in upstate New York.
Really?
That's big.
Record beaver's like 80 pounds. Good Lord.
Yeah.
That's big.
I wonder butchering out how much weight you get off of them. You know? Like how much actual meat.
because there's a field dressed weight.
Mm-hmm.
I always do that with the
And if they have a lot of fat, I wonder what that adds to it.
Can't you render the fat to use for other things though? Wasn't that part of like why they liked beavers back in the fur trade? Multiple
I think it was waterproofing, honestly.
Yeah.
But like the duck, like with the fat that would drip off, because like Ashley said, we'd score the meat, actually just basically poked holes in the thighs to get the cook and some of that fat to drip out. People used it for roasting vegetables.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a really nice fat to flavor vegetables with. So.
Adrian said, "Yeah, we watch people screw themselves only eating rabbit on those survival shows all the time. Yeah, and then they don't get all the nutrients or the fat they need. But if you're starving, I would eat a rabbit. So
I mean, like if you had nothing else, you could probably gain fat from like nuts and fallen in tubers. You could dig probably."
Yeah. Audra said, "Yes, they are still visible. I have the Skyview Light app, and it will label them for you. They are all near the moon right now."
Oh, wow.
See, I need to get the app because I am terrible at finding the constellations. Like, Ashley has to point them out to me. I have no clue on any of that.
Was this the year, the first year, someone actually pointed out Orion's belt to you?
It was.
Yeah. It's like,
now, my dad's interested in he knows some of it and stuff. And Ashley did some of it in school. I just...
Star Lab, man. We went into that big old balloon-like tent, sat in there and learned about the constellations. It's one of my favorite parts of the year.
I probably fell asleep like I do in the theaters.
Theaters,
man. The climate's nice. It's dark.
Well, now they have like the reclining chairs in a lot of them. So we actually went to go see Venom, like the second installation of Venom, Let There Be Carnage. And I figured he is for sure going to stay awake because like there will be a lot of action. Nope, sleep within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I must not be asleep.
Life with Linda and Chuck.
Hello.
Good
Welcome.
to have you here tonight.
Bye, Haas. Have fun with your movie. Bye, Adrian.
Haas said before you left they liked beavers for vanilla flavoring.
Oh, really? Would the oils like help to infuse like vanilla? That would be cool.
Darren said rabbit meat and celery. Dead right there eating that alone.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I think when people are like, "This is what I'm doing for survival at the end of the world," it's just rabbits.
Just
I'm like,
as simple as beans.
Beans, or it's like, let's add some quail. Let's add something else to there. We shouldn't have just one resource of protein.
One nice thing about rabbit though is it's pretty flexible with it. You can cook. I've heard it barbecued. I've heard it.
Stews, kebab, all that stuff. You can definitely do that with rabbit.
Adrian's got to go. Bye. TN 141 said there was a big trend for beaver felt hats that kicked off the trapping craze that caused a lot of the exploration in the US. Yeah, that was a big thing. Like, I was listening to a podcast the other day. I think we talked about it the other day too. Was the nutria down south? Yeah, those were actually brought over, from what I understand, for the fur trade because they were
And now they're destroying thousands of acres in the bayou because they eat the vegetation that actually holds the land in place. So they're losing swamps, a lot of their swamp to erosion because the nutria rat.
Yeah, it was some crazy. I think it was like 1,500 acres a year.
But they were paying like $20 a tail for a nutria rat. So they would say like some people would kill like a pregnant nutria rat and cut it open and take off all the baby tails and get $20 a piece for that too.
But it's that big of a nuisance.
Yeah.
And the South has them. They have the boa constrictors, and then they have the hogs.
The hogs, and then you've got kudzu.
Yeah.
Kudzu that likes to take over. And I know that they were using goats a lot to kind of restrict the growth of kudzu, but I mean, goats can only eat so much. Yeah. We saw a lot of it actually down in Gallenberg when we were down there.
Yeah, it's there
was quite a bit of kudzu down and around there where I was like, ooh. I mean, it's just like a carpet of the stuff. Absolutely a carpet of the stuff. It was crazy.
Oh, yeah. Audra said the Skyview Light app is free and is awesome for finding plants and constellations. It's so fun. I definitely would need to use that, so I'll probably download it. Check it out.
So nutria is destructive there too, Patty? Really?
I didn't realize it was on the
I didn't realize they had nutria rat.
I mean, they talk about it so much in the South. I didn't realize that they also had it out west.
Is kudzu edible, Audra? I wasn't sure if it was or not. I knew they were using goats to kind of to control the growth because goats like to browse, and that's like perfect because goats like climbing ivies as well.
And it's a pretty leafy vine, so they could definitely like it for that reason too.
It's kind of crazy.
I was laughing the other day. Speaking of leaves, our goats all of a sudden went booking towards the corner of the pen. And it was behind a chicken coop, so we couldn't see what was
worried.
going.
We're like, what's going on over there?
The fence come open, and they were all rushing over. Well, a gust of wind had come through and blew a bunch of leaves out of the tree in that corner.
Which for anyone that doesn't know, like when leaves fall off the tree, like that would be like us looking at Pringles or potato chips all over the ground.
Yeah.
That's what that is to goats, and they go psychotic over it.
Their butts were on fire to get over there.
Yeah, they ran, and they were trying to catch them out of the air, like little kids that run out like with snow with their tongues stuck out. That's what the goats were doing for the falling leaves.
Yeah, they were.
But I actually came across like a little bit of
munching on when I got there.
What?
They were munching on heavy when I got there.
Well, it was funny because like then there was a bunch of posts on the goat forums on Facebook that I follow where they're like, specific leaves are not good for your goats to eat, but they were talking about they had a lot of sugar maple leaves, and the one lady's like, yeah, I will go around in my neighborhood and I will bag up leaves like in the netting bags so that like there can be circulation. She's like, I hang them up in my loft or I put them somewhere really dry where the air can get to them and keep them dry. And she uses those as forage for her goats like year round.
Yeah.
She's like, I hang bags and bags. So like where we were thinking about exploring tree hay, that's another thing that I was looking at. I was like, man, if we could find like the sugar maples in the area and get just the leaves from those to hang, like that would be some more nutrition for our goats in the dead of winter when there's really not that much forage.
T-Hand 141 says, I believe the vanilla flavoring comes from the anal glands or something like that. Suddenly don't like vanilla.
Ew.
Just kidding. Thanks, T-Hand 141. Steve said, Aussie iconic hat, the Akubra, are traditionally made from rabbit felt.
Wow.
Which was a result of the rabbit plague here in the past. And that's pretty neat. I'm going to have to look up what one of those hats look like. Are they like a traditional cowboy style hat, or are they more like a winter cap? I wonder.
And when you say rabbit plague, do you mean like there was a plague of rabbits, like just so many rabbits available for hunting and slaughter, or do you mean like a plague hit the rabbits
destructive
and killed them, and then they were using the pelts?
We had one year that was pretty mean in our garden. Remember, they ripped through the garden pretty good.
Yeah, they ripped through the garden, but it's funny. Well, it's not funny, but it just made me think because like there's a disease that's going through wild rabbit more so on like the West Coast. It's moving its way here. I think they just developed a vaccine for rabbits for it, but it was like killing lots and lots of populations of wild rabbits and was spreading to domestic rabbits. So much so that like some of the Purdue Extension Office, which Purdue is specifically for here in Indiana, was talking about the impacts that was having for rabbit shows out in the West and how they were quarantining them. And, and I think there was a breakthrough for a vaccine for that here in the United States. Could just be me, though. I'm not quite sure. And I can't remember what it is, but it was killing wild rabbit populations like crazy here.
Aldra said, I think it's supposed to be, I know it's eaten in Asia, but it may have been crossbred here. but I still think it's supposed to be edible. So I'm about to kudzu.
You're probably right. You're probably right.
Just remember the anal gland secretions are all natural.
Ugh.
And Audra said all natural butt oil. Sounds great. It's like hot dogs. You don't want to know what's in them.
Every time you think about like your vanilla, your vanilla coffee, you'd be like, oh, I'm getting.
I just assumed it was all vanilla.
I'm getting hints of beaver anal gland in this coffee.
Here comes K-Han 141 with more information. He said, we use the vanilla beans and vodka to make our own vanilla extract. No anal glands here.
Oh, I'm glad to hear
Yes,
that.
good to hear. Although
you mean you don't want to do it the old way?
Your vanilla with the vodka in it probably has a hit to pretty hard.
I probably would.
Hammers you pretty hard on that.
It's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
But back to real quick, Ashley was talking about the sugar maple leaves. I mean, that's something we've been looking at as part of the prepping side of things. Is we have a pretty good big goat herd, and if something happened, you wouldn't have food sources, especially in the winter. And what's the best way to do that? And
I don't think people would take kindly to me bringing my herd onto lands and eating resources.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, when you throw livestock in on top of prepping, it just kind of gives it a whole new aspect. Yeah, it's a whole new layer to try to, because you're thinking about water. Like we have a well here, but like wells go dry sometimes, so it's like what we do for water. So we're really thinking about digging two ponds. Two ponds.
Not to mention ponds can also provide food in those.
Well, that you can harvest rainwater. So that was another thing that we were kind of like pondering over, like what's the most efficient and I don't know how to put this, like storage friendly way to capture and store rainwater efficiently. So it's just been a lot of things that have been hitting our minds where we're like, not so much where it like totally engulfs everything that we do or drives everything, every move that we make or decision, but it's definitely something that's been on our mind just because I don't like to be like the conspiracy person or the doom and gloom, but I do not see anything getting better. I see it only getting worse.
Yeah, with especially the cost of things. I mean, even if it isn't like not available, if costs keep going up, then it's going to be a choice basically of what need versus want, and that can be tough too.
Well, especially in our society nowadays, because a lot of us are not faced with such decisions. That's not something that we have to sacrifice for. We're very fortunate in the United States in many ways, and but that will drive people to make irrational decisions as well. That will drive people to not be humane about things.
Hit home pretty hard recently. I was at our local Dollar General, and the worker was just sort of standing in the middle of the store, walking around and stuff. And they have a self-checkout, so I was planning to just go up there and check myself out. And she came up, she's like, I'll check you out, I have nothing else to do. And I was like, okay, sounds good. And if it feels quiet night or whatever. And she was saying that basically they hadn't had a truck in a few weeks, and they called it facing the shelves, which was basically pulling all the goods up to the front to make it look like there was more on the shelf and available and easy to grab, but really there's just not much stock in the store itself. So, you know, we live in a pretty small town. So if it's hitting us, you know, at that point, I mean, even when there was a toilet paper shortage, like
it found it easy.
Yeah, it took a couple weeks before, I'd say 2 or 3 weeks before it really hit us hard, compared to, you know, highly populated areas. So it's not a good sign that supply chains are still a little bit slower than usual.
Well, I noticed that like also in the Walmart that we were at last night, like in the college town, that it was a cereal aisle where it was the most noticeable to me, where I was just like, man, there's like not a lot of variety here right now, which is fine. Like I don't need cereal to survive, but like when you think about it, it's just like that's just one of the first things that you wouldn't see.
So think of Beaver as you drink your coffee with vanilla creamer. Thank you, Emma. I love vanilla creamer, and I'm afraid to read the actual ingredients in it now.
I would implore you to, just to make sure.
TM141 said
better left in the past.
Just if you really want to be grossed out, look up what some candy coating is.
I've seen some. Have you ever looked at like things that they did back in like the Victorian and Edwardian era back in Europe?
Want some comedy? Read what the reviews are on the Haribo fat-free gummy bears. Sugar-free. Thank you.
On Amazon.
Yeah.
People get very descriptive, and it's hilarious.
Yeah. Apparently, that is there's a pretty severe side effect that affects your digestive system with that one.
Makes you levitate in a way. rocket fuel.
Yeah. The comments are golden on that one.
Yeah.
T-Hand141 said, y'all can come get the maple leaves you want from here. I hate raking.
See, I left all mine
surplus.
because I'm like, I can either give it to the goats or I was thinking about using it for our new raised garden beds whenever we get them built.
Life with Blended Chuck just jumped in here on the chat, saw the title about Thanksgiving dinner, and first post I saw was on beaver anal glands. Oh, thought my Thanksgiving is somewhat different than that. Yeah, promise that's not what's for Thanksgiving dinner.
Hey, we were talking about worse things earlier, so I'm glad that's
promise the food supply and cost of not getting to that point where that's
we're
the main
not
course.
Resorting to beaver anal glands for our vanilla extract.
Hello,
leaving
Lola
that in the
Farm.
past.
You're here tonight.
Hello, Lola Farm. How are you?
We watched a little bit of your guys' live with what was it,
Floribama Homestead, yeah.
That was pretty cool.
I was when you were talking about like his teardrop camper, I was like, Mark, you've got to see this because like it is super cute. It's very, very well done for.
Won't lie, you always get a little jealous of some of those guys' craftsmanship because they just have so much skill. It's amazing. Yeah. Probably got more skill in their pinky.
Where I'm over here just tying things up with twine. Where I'm like, twine's gonna fix everything. Twine is the homesteader's duct tape.
Needless to say, that's why I put about 15 bolts and everything. TN141 said the storm is coming. You need to prep before you can smell the rain.
Yes.
Yeah. It's better to be caught up and ahead of the storm instead of starting to prep too late and
because when
scrambling to get everything together.
But that's when everybody else starts to prep. That's when everybody else starts to prepare is when like you can see the storm clouds, not when you're just like, I can hear it from a distance off. People wait until it, and then you're competing with other people that are also trying to prepare.
I won't lie, like we thought we were in decent shape, but when all that hit, it made us really look back and like, man, we could have done better. And we're starting to take advantage of that right now because there is stuff out there.
Yeah.
I ain't saying that, it's not like depleted right now, but
it's not like you can't just go and buy 2 or 3 things at a time. And people will overlook like toothpaste.
Yeah.
People, I'm like, well, it doesn't matter if you want to eat, if you have no teeth or oral hygiene to actually chew and mouth your food.
And even in those circumstances, even if they do get the supply, you may not be able to buy more than one. Because I grabbed 2 water cases, not realizing there was a limit.
Yeah.
During all that, and I had to put one back. Yeah. So, I mean, even if there is supply coming in, you may be restricted on what you can grab. Yeah. So right now, I mean, it's never too late to start.
Yeah.
You can always use that stuff. Buy stuff that you can use. I mean, a lot of the times we buy the cans of food that we will eat, and we just rotate that in. Yeah. And first of the year, that's something we're going to go downstairs, go through our shelves, find the stuff that's getting ready to expire, and bring it up, and then push.
But that is also
new stuff to the back.
And it's easy to prep and to pull aside like canned goods and do your own canning and stuff. There does come a time where, and we were talking about like you're going to have knowledge of like the ecosystem around you.
Yeah. So
my big push is actually to gain knowledge on foraging, and to be able to say this is edible and this will kill me. And realizing that's local. So my strive has been to pull books that I can physically carry with me because I mean, I hate to say it, but like, this is not reliable. This is not reliable. There could come a time where I can't use this because a grid's gone down. I can't just Google or get like a plant app, which plant apps are terrible, by the way, for foragers. Please don't use those. Please talk to somebody that really, really knows, or you've got a really good foraging guide.
Edible plants, you can
or mushrooms, because like the thing is, we've been seeing a lot of mushrooms, and I'm like, I know some mushrooms will just upset your stomach, while others are like, they're like that. It's just a death wish. You do not eat them. So that's been my push prep wise. Is like, I want to know the area and the ecosystem around me and how the earth can feed me in all seasons, where I do not have to depend on a grocery store, or if things are rationed, or if I canned enough that season. Definitely. So that's where my focus is at right now.
Emma said, no, I'm not seeing food shortages here yet. The grocery store I go to is always stocked. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's stuff on the shelves. It's just not as much quantity
freezer stuff,
and volume
it's been ever since the beginning. The freezer section is picked over. Lots of things are picked over here. I'm like, I'm not gonna to lie, and I'm not gonna also blow it out of proportion either. But there have been things where it's like, but it never really affected me, because like if something that I wanted wasn't there, I just said, okay, I'm not getting it. Where other people are like, it's not there, where do I go for it? And it's like, well, you don't have to have that. There are plenty of other options there.
Yeah.
I think it's just the thought of what if those options also dwindle and there's just not enough. But
for sure. Audra said sugar-free Haribo gummy bear reviews are comedy gold. They definitely
aren't they?
Crying.
They're fantastic.
We're laughing so hard. Steve said we were going live with Wide Family Farm in 25 minutes.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
So be sure to check them out.
Yeah.
Guys. I'm sure we'll probably be wrapped up.
Yeah, we'll be wrapped up by then. I'm getting tired. The time change sucks.
It gives you more daylight.
No, it does not. It's dark at 5:30.
Darren said, okay, serious question. Do you find Carhartt clothing one size larger than they say on the tag? I do, honestly.
I do, yeah.
But one reason I do like it.
I appreciate that because then I can layer underneath.
Yeah.
And I can afford to buy the less heavyweight Carhartts because they do come in bigger sizes.
And I don't know if it's honestly them being one size larger or is it just other manufacturers making things smaller and tighter? Because I've noticed some stuff I've bought is like a large is a lot tighter than I expected. Yeah. Or I'm just blaming the manufacturer and it's my ability.
Yeah, right. These Homestead. I saw it on the internet. It has to be safe to eat. And there's always going to be that saying too, where it's like everything is edible at least one time.
Yeah.
Like can eat it one time, just might not be allowed to eat it again.
Yeah. Life with Linda and Chuck said, I seriously need to learn how to forage edible wild plants. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we started getting into that a little bit. What's a good channel for Hidden Oaks?
Hidden Oaks. Actually, Nicole down at Hidden Oaks, she does a lot. Like she did a lot with goldenrod, which a lot of people overlook the use for goldenrod. Yeah. I think she's done stuff with beautyberry, elderberry.
I will say
Beaver
she's farther south than for us. But I'd recommend finding someone definitely local or close to your region to help find edible plants
even
that you
like
would
your
find,
local Department of Natural Resources, local DNR should be able to point you in a point. And a lot of times they have lists locally of people that butcher out deer, people that are good with horticulture, places you can go to get native plants. Your local DNR can actually be a wealth of knowledge when it comes to that. Mm-hmm. They might be able to tell you, hey, there's certain clubs, there's certain places that you should try to be a part of because this is something they focus on.
T-Hand 141 says absolutely get hard copy books. Yep. One good series to check out is the Foxfire books.
Foxfire, yep.
Now they cover a broad range of subjects and different areas of knowledge, and you probably don't need all of it, but there is a lot of good material.
There's 9 or 12 books.
Yeah. And I mean, they cover a lot of different areas.
And like, you'll have to take some of that as a grain of salt too, because it's like, well, if you see an owl fly on the 13th moon of the season, then it means this. Yeah. But people also feel that way about the Farmer's Almanac. And as far as I can, many years, the Farmer's Almanac for our region has been pretty spot on.
Yeah. And one thing I like about the Foxfire books is they sort of explain it to you. Like if you talk to someone sort of like your grandpa or whatever and had that knowledge and shared it, like it's a real easy read to explain it. Like
it is.
It's not like IKEA instructions step by step or just
all about IKEA instructions, don't you?
Yeah, they're
we went through an IKEA kick and it's divorce material.
Oh god, it was like I feel like The Hobbit. Like it was just like step after step, page after page, trying to get through this.
Yeah, Audra, a lot of them will. They'll give you like suggestions as to what it could be, but when it comes to specific edibles, it's like I really need to know what this is, because I need to know, is this in moderation or is this good to eat or is this like, don't touch it, it will kill you,
Patty was saying a similar thing. Mycologist groups with knowledgeable teachers are the best way to get good info on mushrooms in your area.
Actually, for Facebook, I do Mushrooms of Indiana, and they're very serious. Yeah. Like they will kick you out of the group if you say, I think it is this. They're like, do not comment and tell somebody what you think it is unless you are absolutely sure that is what it is, because you could be telling somebody that it's okay to eat something that is not okay to eat, that could hurt them. And they also say no on that little joke that you can eat at least one time. They're like, you don't need to make light of that because people think it's a joke and it's not a joke. It's absolutely the truth. Yeah, those groups take it. They're like hardcore, and they will absolutely get on someone for saying, hey, use a plant app, or hey, I think it's this. Like, well, if you're not sure, please refrain from commenting. so that sucks.
T-Ham 141 says, I recommend Backyard Medicine in the Homesteader's Herbal Companion book.
I have the Herbal Companion book. Yeah. Those are
we'll
good.
have to check out the Backyard Medicine one. I've heard of that from a couple people now.
Yeah.
And with winter coming, it's always good to get some
of
books.
the hardcover, even some of like the books though, you have to really watch because like there's one where I've got it's like a guide to safe mushrooming, and it'll say anything with gills you should never eat. And I'm like, well, that's absolutely not true. There are some mushrooms that are gilled. It can sometimes depend on the patterning of the gill, but they're absolutely edible. Like that's probably not, and it says that's the number one rule. I'm like, that's not
maybe
true.
For like a basic
I think maybe for like
keep it safe.
Yeah, maybe it's more like a cautionary tale. Like if it's
gills,
we need to
mode,
stop.
You can't break it.
Yeah.
Darren said,
Bye, Patty.
I just bought an XL long sleeve shirt and I'm swimming and told Emma that. That's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny how the different clothes styles and manufacturers do that. Jeans, I found are the hardest for me. Trying to find a good fit jean.
Well, actually, different manufacturers. That's just, it's awful. Jeans, shirts for some women.
I do love that manufacturers have started making it on a lot of it with stretch material though, which is super nice.
Love me some jeans with the stretch waistband.
Yeah. For sure. It makes it a lot better when you're working even. Like sometimes you need that little stretch. Emma said, I was curious too because I want to get a jacket so I don't have to steal Matt's.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Everybody saying good night to Patty. Emma, I'd have trouble with a book about foraging too. The pictures aren't always great. Yeah.
They're not. And like even I found like some plants from just a little bit of a change in your region can change like the plant's leaf pattern. It can be really frustrating and quite frankly, like that's I think why a lot of people don't forage because it's sometimes it's the tiniest little detail. Also, like we had somebody that was talking in one of our plant forums about deadly nightshade, and it wasn't deadly nightshade because somebody was like, if it's deadly nightshade, I want to see a picture because I've never seen it in this region. And the person had to backtrack and be like, yeah, you're right. It's not deadly nightshade. It was a variation of nightshade, but it wasn't deadly nightshade, which they were very worried about.
Yeah.
Because it was in with their peppers and they were worried about cross-pollination and it like hurting her fruit. And people had to explain like, that's not what cross-pollinating like that is not what you think it is. So
yeah. T-Ham 141 said there's a fine line between elderberry and water hemlock up here. One is great for you. One will kill you painfully.
Yep.
I had an app that gave me both as suggestions.
Yeah. We have pokeberry. Pokeberry is very close to elderberry and R. Now that won't kill you, but boy, will it give you a stomach ache that you will remember for a very long time. The leaves are edible, I think, when they're shoots, fresh little shoots, but after a while they're
it's like I had an app similar to that T-Hand 141. It was even gave recommendations like plants on other continents. Like you're like, okay, that ain't right. Like one of them had like Japanese plants.
But that also goes like so like actually that brings up a good point because we were actually just talking on another live about like people were giving like trees to their animals or like talking about doing Christmas tree drop-offs. And I know a lot of people like to have like the pumpkin drop-offs. But a lot of people don't think about what has this been sprayed with? Has it been bleached to preserve? Like pumpkins, I know get bleached a lot to preserve the outside, and that can be toxic for my small ruminants out there. But it's also like that, like for trees, and so it doesn't just go for us for foraging. That also goes for like your livestock. So because sometimes you can forage specifically for your livestock, and you also have to know what is toxic and what is not toxic. So I know some forms of pine will flat out kill my goats and others they'll love it. It's fine. It's very beneficial for their immune systems. But if it's this variation, it could kill them. Along with like choke cherry is fine for goats. The leaves, but when they fall off and they wilt, it can kill your goats. So we actually were a part of a forum where someone had thought they were giving their goats juniper clippings, and it wasn't juniper. It was Japanese yew. And it looked just like juniper. And it was a very high-performing boar goat herd and killed like, what was it, 46 to 50?
Something like that.
She just came home and like her entire herd was dead. And it was just small little clippings of something they thought was juniper and it wasn't.
Darren said, I get a lot of industry clothing. Mark, ignore this post. But I always need more homestead durable clothing.
Yeah.
Way to rub it in, Darren. I have to buy all mine. Audra said, have you ever eaten polk weed?
No, I've heard. See, and that's one of those things. Like I know that I've heard it enough. Like that, if you eat it at the wrong time, it will give you a stomach ache for the ages. But if you eat fresh shoots, like the leaves, then you can get around that, and it can go into salves, and it can go into like
she
salads.
said, well, you answered my question
Yeah.
about Polk.
Yeah.
You taught me about puffballs. I never knew those were edible.
We didn't know cattails were edible.
Either.
And we learned from here. Yeah, we didn't. Mom always told us that, and his mom too, that it would kill us. But it was just so that we wouldn't eat weird things. And I totally get that. As a mother now, like I tell Joe, please don't put anything in your mouth that you don't. It's okay to eat, even if you're trying to be exploratory. Like, please don't do that.
Emma said, like wild edibles in southern Missouri are different from where we are.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, one of the plants we were looking at, and I think we're going to keep it because it's pretty decorative and looks neat, but really has no practical use. Is bittersweet, at least that we've found.
I want to look to see if there is something, but everything that I've read says that the berries are toxic. Because like I wanted to move it to the chicken coop. I wanted to move my wisteria to the chicken. Everything I wanted to move to the chicken coop or near the goats. I couldn't because like wisteria, you get a lot of mixed people saying wisteria is fine, but I'm like, knowing my goats, they'll eat the entire thing and then fall over dead. It won't be like the nibble and taste test and then be like, "Ooh, I don't like this." It'll be they'll eat the entire thing and eat it. Where I've heard iris is not good for goats, that it can be toxic in large amounts. But your sister's goats like to eat the iris all the time and they don't have any intestinal issues. Mine have gotten out and nibbled it and left it alone. So for me, I'm like, they must not have liked it, or it might have hurt their tummies right off the bat. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I know Darren's talking to Lola Farm, but so I'm used to expensive clothes. I think is it Fall Raven? I think it's the Jace Silent. But then Arc'teryx, which we know about, hard to use that clothing for shoveling crap.
Why not?
It
just adds character,
I don't
Darren.
Own anything Arc'teryx. But it's funny because Ashley will buy something nice and I'll be like, don't wear it out to the barn. And she'll
always goes out to the barn.
It goes out.
My brand new pants that I just bought like 2 weeks ago, I've worn one time. They went out to go get deworm goats today. And I was like, like this, new. Went out, deworm goats, herbal dewormer all over my sweater. Just fine, it'll wash out.
I'll be honest, like a lot of things I'll buy those, like just generic Hanes or t-shirts or the
thrift store.
Yeah.
The thrift store is our friend.
I'll load up on work shirts there too.
Yeah. It's been a while since we bought anything brand new. We only usually buy things brand new like while we're on vacation, like my new drug rug.
Or just in stuff that's hard to find at thrift stores. Like
jeans.
Good overalls.
Yeah. Good jeans are kind of tough
to
come by at the thrift stores.
Darren Owen, for those in the chat, Nightball is correct. Get yourself some Mulberry swag. You'll love it.
I probably should just take Nightbot off, Darren, because like you do Nightbot's job for them, and it doesn't really seem fair.
Said, I've eaten Polk. My grandfather knows how to cook it. It stinks so bad though, but tastes like greens.
Yeah, and I've heard like like most things, it has an expiration where it's like after this point you probably don't want to eat it. But I know like that's like that with mushrooms. So I found fall oysters on a fallen tree out here. I didn't get around to picking them because life is busy and I forgot about it, and then we had a hard frost. But a lot of people there, like even with our puffballs, are like, hey, you can still eat the puffball, just cut out the discolored or the aged parts of it and cook the parts that are still white and clean.
Yeah.
So you can eat around the bad stuff.
She also said, I think is it the rhizomes that are toxic on the iris, but not sure.
Yeah, it is.
TN141 says it's so hard to keep good clothes on the homestead.
Preach.
Definitely.
Preach to me.
You get like a nice pair of boots or shoes, and then next thing you know, you're stepping in something that
just like my favorite boots. Actually, I've got them on. They split up the side. I'm like, crap! Like I can't really like seal that because it's split. So.
But I will say also, homesteading will test if the clothes are good or not. Mm-hmm. So, had many seams ripped doing different types of work.
What did you just do like not long ago? It ripped out. Oh, it was your brother.
Oh yeah.
He was trying to do like they were doing cheerleading moves out by the bonfire. They were trying to do toe touches, and he tried to do toe touches in his right up the butt. Just it's like, oh.
I think we've all been there before.
I've ripped plenty of jeans on barbed wire here.
Yeah. All right, you ready to wrap things up though?
I am.
Let everyone know to be sure to check out Steve and what was it? Wide Family Farm. Yeah, that's a tongue twister.
Or else.
So they should be starting, I think, in about 5 minutes.
Yeah. They're getting ready to start right now.
So
but
be sure to go there and check them out. Yep. Steve's awesome.
But you guys, between Nightbot and Mark, I'm never sure who to flirt with. Gary, you're a mess. You are a mess.
Look how he leaves me tonight.
Yes, but we love having you guys in our chat, and we appreciate the time that you spend with us and the interaction you give us, because this is always a highlight for our week, and we always enjoy seeing each and every one of you.
Emma's chatting with Steve on Saturday, so
that's right. I saw that, so I'll make sure you guys go over there and put reminders on these lives. I'm not good with
dates and times, so I see them pop up. I'm like, I want to check that out. And YouTube has not been great about notifications.
Emma has a live tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And I think it's
giveaway,
at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Right.
With an ultra cool knife.
Yeah.
I know that's part of the giveaway because I remember that. So
don't forget about Emma. Go over to Emma at Sunny's place and put a reminder for her live tomorrow.
Is Doggo going to be joining you in that?
Please, yes, Doggo.
Maybe you can find a new home for him on there.
Yes. Hey. If you were closer, we might take Doggo, but you're not close. And
sounds like awesome dog.
I don't feel like he would let me have another dog.
All right, we better let him go.
Yeah. All right, guys.
You guys all have a great night.
Thanks for being with us.
God bless, and
see you in the next one.
Yep.
Bye, guys.